Mr. Fortenberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. Ms. Secretary, welcome. Nice to see you again. Did you watch the Super Bowl? No, there's no trick here.
I'm a Steeler fan. I did not really
Okay.
want to watch the Ravens win the Super
I'm not a
Bowl.
big devotee to Super Bowl commercials. A lot of them can be on the margins, if you know. But there was one that was extraordinary, and it basically, for about a minute, portrayed the ideals, the values, the risk, the hard work, the noble cause, if you will, of using your own two hands and growing food. And I thought it was so powerful and impactful in helping restore the, if you will, the romantic ideal of American agriculture. I was just deeply, deeply impressed. Didn't even realize it was a truck commercial till the very end. With that said, I think both of us have a responsibility, all of us here actually have a serious responsibility to continue to re-explain the importance of American agriculture to our people, our nation. Agriculture is not only about a safe and abundant food supply, it's also about economic policy, one of the few bright spots in our economy, trade policy, energy policy, environmental policy, as well as national security policy. We've had dozens of Nebraska National Guardsmen go to Afghanistan who have farm backgrounds to help that country transition to some sort of economic stability. They put their lives on the line to help farmers over there, to help build out their economy as a part of our drawdown strategy. With that said, I know you're a robust presence throughout the nation on behalf of American agriculture. I've seen your speeches, and I really appreciate that. I just wanted to elevate the importance of all of our conversation to the broader communities out there about how much agriculture contributes to the nation's well-being. Sometimes we get into narrower policy fights up here, but lose sight of the broader impact that our farmers and ranchers and all of our producers have for America's well-being. So thank you for your leadership in that regard. One quick point, we're in our region suffering a severe drought. As you know, I was on the phone with one of my producers midwinter, and I asked him what he was doing. He said he was moving dirt. I said, how are you doing that? He said, well, there's no moisture in the soil. You could break through it pretty easily. So it's important, I think, that we all look at and continue to think creatively as to how we research and engage in drought mitigation measures. And I wanted to hear how big of a priority that is for the department. Then I have a couple of other questions, so I'll just stop here.
Representative, first of all, thank you very much for your comments about the American farmer, rancher, and producer, the best in the world and very underappreciated throughout the country. We obviously take this issue of drought and for that matter, extreme weather conditions very, very seriously. And it is a priority area of ours in this year and for the next 4 years, as long as I'm Secretary, to focus on mitigation and adaptation strategies to allow our farmers to continue to be the best in the world. Let me give you a couple of examples. We have and will be announcing in the next month or two a series of initiatives focused on climate change and expanding research opportunities. We are focused very much on multi-cropping and cover cropping because we think that's a conservation opportunity that we have not fully appreciated and have not fully educated folks about the benefits. We're looking at additional barriers in our crop insurance program that make it harder for people to embrace cover crops and multi-cropping, trying to remove those barriers. We're looking at ways in which we can create market opportunities for those cover crops, and we're doing research on the impact that certain cover crops have on primary crops to make sure that we don't solve one problem just to create another. We'll continue to keep a watchful eye this year. Fortunately, some of the spring rains and late winter snows have abated the drought situation in some areas of the country, but there are still a number of areas, including Nebraska, that are still quite dry. So we will have the same set of tools that we had last year available, and we will keep a wary eye on this, and if necessary, we will utilize additional CRP land, for example, if it becomes an issue with forage. We'll continue to look at ways in which we can provide help to producers.
Thank you for saying that. I think this is terribly important, given that we spent $15 billion in indemnity payouts on crop insurance to mitigate the effects of the drought, which were important, obviously. But thank you for that commitment and those statements. In a broader sense, I'd like to hear from you we all have, again, a responsibility to continue to think entrepreneurially about policy. What is old that needs to be modernized or let go of? What is new that needs to be invested in? And from, again, a high-level perspective, how would you answer that question?
Well, specifically in the area of rural development, we are proposing a consolidation of a number of the smaller programs into a more competitive program that will stir the imagination and creativity of folks in rural areas to think more creatively about rural development. We established the Great Regions Initiative, in which we are asking people to think not just about their individual community, but how they fit within an economic region. We are focused very much on building the bio-based economy. We think this is an underappreciated opportunity for innovation and rebuilding the middle class, as the President has directed. Basically taking everything that we grow and raise and converting it into a chemical, into a plastic, into a fiber, into a fabric. I have seen extraordinary things recently. I've seen plant material that's being used to produce something that's akin to fiberglass that will be stronger but lighter, that someday will be used in auto bodies to allow us to have more fuel-efficient cars. I've seen wood that's being converted with nanotechnology into armor that's lighter than the current Kevlar. We've seen corn cobs producing plastic bottles for Coca-Cola's water project, and we've seen at Ohio State literally hog manure being used to create asphalt. I mean, there are just unlimited opportunities here, and investing in those opportunities and helping to focus people's rural development efforts is one of the strategies. I could talk about this for a long, long time, but the chairman's going to do what he just did. And
Yeah. Ms. Pingree.